Hey everyone! In my last video I stated that I would be working on my greetings cards the last couple of days, and that's what I've been doing, to the extent that my room is totally trashed. I'll give you a pan of that now. So this is currently the state of the studio, the spare room. Everything is out everywhere and I've got a lot of tidying up to do. Now, while I was doing that, I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see how I go about the process of making the cards. So I've taped various parts of it and I've put it together in a little montage for you to have a look at now. This is all the equipment that I use to make my greetings cards. In the first box here, I have got all my card and paper. I've got the actual greetings cards there, they're all stashed there with their envelopes. And then here is just a stack of different coloured papers and design papers. These booklets actually come off of craft magazines. And then right underneath I've got even more card and paper all the way down to the bottom there. This second box, again underneath here, is actually lots more paper and card. It goes all the way down. And then on the top and down the side I've got all my stamps and my ink pads. As you can see, they go all the way down the bottom. Lots of ink pads and stamps and things. In the third box I've actually got my dies for my die cut machine. I've got some hard rule dies there, and then I've got my mini dies. These are actually my favourites because you get the die and you get the stamp, so you can actually make an image and then cut it out precisely. So I'll show you how I do that a bit later, but they're my favourites. Then I've got some embossing folders and some more dies. And then here I've got my little toolkit, which has got pens, tools, spiky tools, scissors, a seam roller for pressing everything down. So that's my little toolkit. And then here I've got my die cut machine, which is the Sizzix Big Shot. The first thing I do when I'm making a batch of cards is I go through all my dies and I pick the designs that I'm going to use. And for this batch of cards, it's going to generally be these dies, which are the ones that have got the accompanying stamps. So I just go through and pick the ones that I'm going to use. One other thing that I need from this box are my number and letter dies. Those are my letters, and those are my numbers. Once I've worked out which designs I'm going to use, I then have a think about how many of each design I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do 3 of each design. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 designs, so 3 times 7 is 21. I'm going to get that amount of cards. So 21 cards, and now I can get on to choose the colours of the paper that I'm wanting for these. The card that I like to mainly use is in here. Underneath all of my stamps, I've got 2 packets of a textured card. So 2 packets, and this is the card that I like to stamp on and use the die cut machine with. The other things that I need from this box are my inks and stamp blocks. So I need my purple inks and my logo stamp to stamp onto the back of the cards. Then I use my black inks and brown inks, and I've got my coloured inks at the bottom. The other thing I need are my acrylic stamping blocks, so I need some of those. And then my little coloured inks, I need those ones. Once I've got everything that I need, I put everything else away and carry on with stamping the images. So after lots of stamping, this is what I end up with. Plenty of images that I now need to take over to the die cut machine and get cutting out. And by movie magic, they're all cut. If that is a little bit fast for you, I will show you how the process works now. And this is how all those images got cut using my die cut machine. As I said previously, this is a Sizzix Big Shot, and I'm going to show you how it works. For the dies that I like using, I like to use this magnetic plate. It's a thick bit of Perspex with magnets embedded into it, and it holds the metal dies still while you're doing the work that you need to do. Then you put a Perspex plate, as you can see, this is well used and loved, on top of the platform. Then I put the cardboard down, then I put the dies on the top, and then I cover it with another bit of Perspex and send it through the machine. So let's set that up now. When I refer to using a die, this is what I mean. It's a piece of metal, very thin piece of metal that's been cut into the shape to match the stamped image. And then on the back side, it has a very fine edge, and that edge is slightly raised. You can probably just see the definition there. And because it's right against the inside edge, when I put it over the image, like so, I line it up so that all the image is seen inside that shape. And as soon as I'm happy, the magnets hold that die in place. So I'll do that for the rest of them. Once I'm happy with the positioning of all the dies, I take my second bit of Perspex, place it on the top, and send it through the die cut machine, which I'm going to show you now. So I place the platform and the combination of various cutting materials on one side. I place it up to the centre of the die cut machine and I turn the handle. Sometimes you hear cracking and all sorts of noises as it cuts through the card, but I just take my time with it and pass it through the machine. As you can hear that crack at the end there. Once I've done that, I take the top bit of Perspex off, and as you can see, the dies aren't going anywhere now, and that's because they've bitten into the cardboard and cut around the shape. I then remove them from the Perspex. The whole thing lifts off. As you can see, the shape's been cut. I take the outside bit of card off. You can see the shape is there. And from this side, I pop the card out. And you're left with a perfectly stamped and cut image. I'll do that for the rest now. There you have it, some beautifully cut images. I can now move on to getting all these images stuck onto the cards. This is the next stage in my process where I lay out all the cards and I decide which combination of images is going on which cards. I then stack them all up so that I can have my workspace back and work through them one by one. And a few hours later, this is what they look like. They've all been put together and I'm happy with the end result. There is one thing that I didn't show you. I'm just going to zoom in on these ones. So some of the cards can be a little bit flat looking, a little bit plain, so I use the stamps that I've stamped the main images and I just do a little bit of definition behind them before I stick the main images down. So I do that on a couple of my designs, this being one of them. One of the things that you're probably aware of is there's no wording on any of these cards yet, and that's a whole other thing that I'll do. I won't bore you with it on this video, but what I do is, like these, I'll cut out the letters and stick them on. I'll just choose whatever words I feel appropriate, sometimes whatever will fit in the spaces that I've left on the cards after I've stuck all the prints down. So yeah, it's one of the jobs I do, and although making a greetings card may come across as being a little bit simple, there are many stages, as you can see. So I hope you found that interesting, and I will be back with another update soon.